In this series, I plan to share with you everything I've learned in my 36 years as being a financial advisor myself here at our company, Epstein Financial Services, as well as the 401k coach, where nationally I've trained over 5,000 advisors how to do what we do. And part of that is helping you help your employees create that paycheck for life, which, by the way, is the title of my first book, Paychecks for Life, How to Turn Your 401k into a Paycheck Manufacturing Company. Oh, and by the way, 401k Wire has even named me one of the top 100 most influential people in the country, so that must mean what I have to say can be of value to you. Today what I want to cover is how much on average your employees need to save to create that paycheck for life at retirement, and something called the Rule of 72, which is a shortcut for figuring out how fast your money grows, or worse still, how fast inflation is going to reduce the purchasing power of that paycheck for life. But first, if you're just interested in learning about my entire process right now, or you want to know the secret sauce for creating the most competitive retirement plan, then just click the link below and I'll send you a copy of my second book, Save America Save. There it is, which this series is based on. We'll get this in your hands right away. Oh, and also, if you'd like a free complimentary vendor benchmarking, what we call a request for proposal analysis of your retirement plan, go ahead and click that link as well, and we'll get you some information out as soon as possible. So, how much do your employees need to save in order to create that paycheck for life? On average, I like to tell employees that they need to save at least 10% of their pay year in and year out to effectively accumulate enough money to create a paycheck for life. But more importantly than just saving 10%, your employees need to calculate how much of their current income they need to replace when they get to retirement in order to successfully replace their income and have that paycheck for life. Now that's a calculation that we found that most employees don't bother to calculate, and it's the most important number, and I want to show you how it's done. Now in my industry we have a technical word for this. It's called the income replacement ratio, or the income replacement formula. It's gobbledygook, so I'm going to break it down for you so you can help your employees figure out how much they need to save so they'll be successful. So the income replacement ratio works like this. On average, when you get to retirement, you're probably not going to need 100% of your income. You'll probably need 70, 80, or 90% of your income. Now, why is that? Let's look at a simple example. Let's imagine you're 40 years old, your annual income is $50,000, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to work till 66, and then at that point, I want to start collecting that paycheck for life. We're also going to assume that you're going to get Social Security, which will make up for a portion of that income replacement. But as I already said, the kids are grown, the mortgage is paid off, so let's say you only need 80% of your current income, which would be $40,000 a year. Now, that's $40,000 in today's dollars, but we've got this little problem, and it's called inflation. So, Charlie, what is inflation? You know, an economic definition is too much money chasing too few goods. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's say I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and this was the last cup of coffee that existed today. And there's 100 people in the room, and they all want that cup of coffee. What do you think is going to happen to that price of coffee? They're going to bid it up. That's too much money. 100 people with money in their pockets bidding up one item. Another way to look at inflation is 25 years ago, a gallon of gas was 23 cents a gallon. Today, last time I checked, it's about $2.09. So inflation means that your purchasing power is being eroded every year, and you need your income to grow or your savings to grow to just keep up with the cost of living. Now, I mentioned something called the Rule of 72. And the Rule of 72 is a shortcut for figuring out how fast your money is going to be eroded by inflation. So, how does the calculation work? Let's say inflation is 3% a year. I mean, on average, since 1924, inflation has been running about 3%. What you want to do is take the number 3, divide it by the number 72, and you come up with 24. What does 24 mean? 24 means that in 24 years, if your income today is $50,000, it's only going to be worth $25,000 in 24 years. Imagine that. It's literally cut in half by 3% inflation in 24 years. Now let's turn this calculation around. So here you are, you're 40 years old, you're going to work till 66, your income is $50,000, you want to replace 80% of that, which means that's $40,000. However, in 24 years, $40,000 is only going to be worth, yep, you got it, $20,000. So you actually need $80,000 just to keep pace with inflation when you get to be around age 64, 65, or 66. Now, you're probably saying, Charlie, this sounds complicated. Or how will my employees be able to calculate this? Well, here's the good news. Most 401k record keepers today have calculators that'll help your employees calculate their income replacement ratio and the effects of inflation. As a matter of fact, there are even some record keepers that instead of giving on the statement a lump sum amount of how much money your participant has accumulated in their 401k plan, they'll actually convert that to a monthly income at their retirement age. So if somebody needs $2,000 a month to live on and they right now have $1,350 projected, then the calculator will say, well, you're short about $650 a month. This is how much additional money you'd need to save at a reasonable rate of return at 3% inflation in order to create that paycheck for life. And by the way, if you'd like a list of the record keepers that will actually do those calculations for you and your employees, or actually convert the lump sum amount that they've saved into a monthly amount, just email me at cdepstein@the401kcoach.com and we'll send you a list of those record keepers. Now, let me tell you, this is mission critical, what we just covered. You see, if your employees don't know how much income they need to replace, their income replacement ratio, what inflation will do to their investment over time and their paycheck over time, and how much they need to save, then they're going to end up somewhere, and unfortunately it won't be with enough money in their retirement account to create that paycheck for life. So one way here at Epstein Financial and the 401k Coach that we can help your employees understand exactly how much they need to save is something called a gap statement. And the gap statement will do this calculation for them. As a matter of fact, with all our clients, we create an annual gap statement for all their employees so they'll understand exactly what steps they can take to achieve that paycheck for life. If you'd like a copy of an example of our gap statement, go ahead and just email me at cdepstein@the401kcoach.com and we'll get you out a sample. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions or comments or you'd like to connect with me, you can contact me at that email address. I'm Charlie Epstein. I'm America's 401k Coach, and I look forward to sharing with you more in this series of how to create paychecks for life for you and your employees. Thanks for watching. We'll see you the next time.